Hello everyone, just let me put this screen on. All right. So, I hope nobody comes in the door because I never locked it. Whoops. Now, what you need today is a chair. The higher the better. I actually don't have a bar stool, but if you're an amputee and you've got a bar stool type height chair, like right up here, or a perching stool if you use one of those, that will be even better. If you've got comments or suggestions or things you're finding hard or easy or anything like that, stick them in the comments below. This is going out live on YouTube as well as Facebook, so I will check those comments and reply to you or things like that later if I need to. Do say hi and pop a comment below so I know that you're here, and let me know what you think of the workout. Now, I'm a left leg below the knee amputee, and I have been so for 5 months. 5 months today, actually. So what I do might be different for people that are double amputees, people that are further down the line, people that haven't got this far yet. There is no way of measuring what is easy and what is hard for every single person. So I will show you a bundle of different ways you can do each exercise so that you can make it harder or easier as appropriate for you. Today is a leg exercise day, but I am going to make it really super easy as well as hard for those people that are finding it harder. And we are going to do it the same as we did last week, and that is 4 lots of 20-second intervals with a nice big rest whilst I talk to you in between. So, to begin with, what you might want to do is hang on to the chair. If your balance isn't all that great, which I know what that's like because I'm still trying to get it back, then you would want the chair to be in this position. If you can't move your legs around and things like that while standing on one leg, then I would suggest you hang on to something. So what we're going to do is high knees alternating between left and right leg. You might want to alternate which side you hold the chair on. So if I was doing a high knee with my prosthetic, I would probably hold the chair on this side. And if I was doing a high knee with the other one and required to stand on my prosthetic, I would have the chair on this side. So, are we ready to go? Now, let us begin. Just checking if that was a comment. So, here we go, 20 seconds. So we're going to go high knees, left side. So, left side. High knees, left side. And you're just going to bring your knee up so that it comes up to hip height, like so. You're not going to hitch the hip, you're going to leave the hip where it is, and you're just going to move the knee up and down. If you're doing a hip hitch, then it ends up looking like this, which in front looks like this, and we don't want that. We want the hips to stay level. So hanging onto your chair, I'm just going to hang my timer around my neck. And we're off for 20 seconds. So, hang on to your chair, keep your hips square. If it helps to put your hand on your hips so that you can see yourself where it is, then do that. Keep your knee coming up nice and high. Keep the hips level. This will make your standing leg work really hard, and your quad if you're suffering from muscle atrophy in the quad, which I am. And stop. Now we're going to swap over to the other side. This I'm probably going to find a lot more challenging. In fact, actually, I might actually keep the chair on that side, to be honest. Yeah. Because I'm just thinking about this, if you've got one crutch, you would have the crutch on the opposite side to your prosthetic. So yeah, you probably want the chair on the opposite side. Right. So the challenge is now you're going to stand on your prosthetic side if you've got one. And the challenge will be double if you've got 2. You might want 2 chairs or crutches if you've got them. So here we go. High knees. So we're going to go high knees, nice and slow, keeping those hips square. Stop the timer. Now, I know that I wouldn't be able to do this not hanging onto this chair. I just don't have the balance. But if you haven't got a prosthetic leg, you'll find this a lot easier. You won't need to hang on to the chair. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Right. We're going to sit down for a second. Woo, and give yourself a rest. wiggle it out, roll your back out. What I find is the biggest challenge being an amputee is walking squarely so I don't give myself backache. So make sure that you give everything a bit of a wiggle. All right, here we go again. So I'm going to leave the chair on that side the whole time, actually. So we're going to go right leg, standing on it, left leg comes up in the air. Are we ready? And go. So up we come. For me, actually, the hard part here for me is pulling the knee in. And as you'll know, if you're an amputee, the hamstring has to work like a bugger to pull the knee in like that. Nobody who hasn't got a prosthetic will understand the challenge of that. And stop. Now we're going to stand on the other leg, keeping your hips square, and go. So high knee. If this is too easy for you, the next time round, no hands, or speed it up if you need to make this harder. Ooh, and stop. Have a little rest if you need one. Have a sit down. I'm not going to this time. We've got one more, and then I'm going to explain to you what's next. So, one more of those. So we're starting with the left leg. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Left leg comes up in the air. That actually really hurts my calf as well. I wonder why, because my calf is not in the calf position. I think it's because I'm trying to get the knee control back of my walking. The calf is working overtime. Everything on the left-hand side works overtime. You know what it's like. And keep everything square. I realize I'm leaning over. I need to stand up. 3, 2, 1, stop. Now, if you're really feeling it in here, that's the right place. We are working the adductors and hip flexors because the adductors are the ones that you need to get back that are most atrophied when you are an amputee. I am finding this, trying to straighten out my walking. So we'll go the other leg. I nearly forgot. Right leg. Ready? And go. So you're keeping this leg nice and straight. Keep the hip tucked in. Keep the knee straight. Keep the weight over your left side. Rely on the chair as little as you can. This is considerably harder for me than the other side. 3, 2, 1, stop. All right. Now, I'm going to sit down for a second, and I'm going to tell you what we do next. So, when you are an amputee, and you haven't used your amputated leg for a long time, you lose a lot of quad muscle, you lose a lot of your adductors and these muscles down the sides, and your hamstrings and glutes have to work overtime. I'm just telling you this for the people that are watching that aren't amputees. So that's why we're targeting the muscles we're targeting. So the first two groups of exercises are muscles that need to be strengthened, and the next two are the ones that we are relying on that we're just going to give a bit of workout to. So the next one is your adductors, and you've probably had this from a physio or physical therapist if you're in America. So you're going to hang on to the chair, and you're going to keep everything square, and you're going to lift your leg up to the side and down. So we're starting with the left side. We're doing both. So this is my amputated side, and this is the one I only have to do 2 or 3, and oh my God, my muscles are screaming at me. This is the one that hurts first when I'm walking, and I'm really working hard and trying to build my distance up. So this is also the one that works overtime if you stand like this. So don't do that, or your other leg will start complaining. Right, are we ready? And go. So up to the side, keeping everything else straight. Don't hitch that hip up, leave it where it is. If you've got resistance bands at home and you want to make this harder, put resistance bands around your knees to make this harder. You can also do this without a prosthetic on the leg you're lifting. Obviously, otherwise you'd be levitating. And stop. Now we need to swap the chair around. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This is going to be a bit of a challenge, to be fair. I will admit. Are we ready? And go. So this side I'm nowhere near as good at, and I can't get my leg as high. But it's all about standing on your prosthetic and moving your weight around and not losing your balance. Now, as you can see, I'm a lot more wobbly on this side, and that's all right. But both legs are required to work hard. And rest. Now, I am going to sit down this time because my leg feels like it's done some work. So we're going to do that 2 more times, and then we're working on glutes and hamstrings. So, are you ready? Let us begin. Number 2. Here we go. So, starting with your left leg. Left leg goes up in the air. Are you ready? And go. So try and keep your toe pointing forwards. Don't turn it around or you're cheating and bringing in the quads. What we're trying to work is the adductors here. These ones down the side of your leg. 4, 3, 2, stop. Swap sides. Ready? And go. I just need to get my head together. And my leg. Now you need to keep your leg locked out. Keep your weight over the socket. Try not to lean too much. And I can't do this quite as well, because otherwise you end up upsetting the bones. Let me see. Might actually be easier if you're finding it hard to put the chair around the front. Like that. So then you can lean on it with both sides. Because I find that really hard. And stop. And what happens if you start doing it wrong? Lift your leg lower, because what will happen is your tibia fibula inside that socket will start rocking around and rubbing at the sides, and you don't want it to do that. So I would suggest chair around the front if you're finding it hard with the chair around here like I am. Okay, last time. Ready? Left leg. And go. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to put it there actually now. So I've got hang a hold of it with both hands. Okay, we ready? And it's a little bit low. It probably wants to be a bit higher. Here we go. So keep that leg steady in the socket. This is where you find out whether your socket fits properly or not. I could probably do with another sock already. I've only had it on a couple of hours. 3, 2, 1, rest. Now, this next one, I'm going to sit down and explain, give my leg a rest. This next one is squats and kickbacks. Now, the squats really are going to depend on where you are in your rehab. This will be way, way harder for somebody who's a double amputee, so you'll want to hang on to something good and solid with both hands. And if you have both your feet intact, then you'll be able to do this nice and low. But the trick with a squat is to only go as low as you've got control. So I'm going to turn it round sideways. Now, for an amputee, you want the weight to be at the back in your heels. And you're going to stick your bum out at the back. So if you're hanging onto a chair, you want it there. And we're only going to do a mini squat. So we're only going to go sort of this far. And then we come back up again. And make sure you straighten the hips flexors right out. There is a habit that you get into if you spend a lot of time sitting in a wheelchair, not straightening yourself right out. So going from a little baby squat to all the way up. Now you hold on to the chair if you need it. I probably don't. Now, if you want to make this harder, you widen your feet and you go lower So that's about as far as I can go before my knee on the prosthetic leg won't bend any further. Okay, but you still want your weight in the heels with your bum sticking out at the back. So, mini squats, make them as deep as you can and still have control. Hang on to something if you need to. Ready? And we go. So, we're going to go mini baby squats. Like this. I'm also tackling the fact that I've got a knee replacement on this side, which doesn't like holding me up, to be honest. Straighten everything right up. 3, 2, 1. Stop. And the next one we're going to do is we're going to hold that. Now this sounds like a mighty challenge, so I'm going to shorten it to 10 seconds. So, wherever it is you got to, you're going to hold it for 10 seconds, like that. Don't hold on to something if you can help it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Now, you will find out pretty soon whether you've got your weight equally on your left and your right leg when you're holding that squat. Make sure you have, if you can. So you're wanting the weight 50-50 both sides. Right then, number 2. Here we go. And go. Baby squats, mini squats, deep squats. It's entirely up to you. Hang on if you need to. Straighten all the way out in between. I'll turn around so you can see what it looks like the other way around. 3, 2, 1. Stop. We're going to hold a squat. Ready? Go. Oh, hang on. Just get my knee in the right place. There we are. There we are. Now, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you should be able to see whether you're straight and whether you're even and whether you've got your weight on both sides. You should be able to feel it in that side. Stop. Whew. Rest. So we're going to do one more of those. Starting with your baby squats. Ready? And go. So, I'm going to try it without. You've got to keep your bum out at the back, otherwise your foot won't do what it's meant to do. And your heel will come off the floor if on your prosthetic. So that's why your weight has got to go right back to keep your foot flat on the floor. And hold that squat. Three, 2, 1, stop. I think that's 3 times. Too bad if it's not. Right then, last one. We're going to do a kickback. So this works glutes and hamstrings. You'll want to hang on to something and you're going to go like that. Okay? This should be easier for those of you who find it hard to stand on your prosthetic leg because your leg is not required to move or do anything else and you're not leaning to one side, so it should be slightly easier. Okay, are we ready? We're going to do it left side and then right side. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Left leg. Now, I can't actually bend this any more than that. This is also good for your prosthetic leg because it strengthens your hamstring and gets it used to holding the lower leg up. Because if you've got a prosthetic, your calf is not doing that for you anymore. Your hamstring has to do it on its own. My hamstring doesn't like that job at the moment. Stop. Swap sides. Go. So this is much easier. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, stop. Whew. Okay, we rest for a second. I think I'm going to have to adjust my leg after this. It feels like it's getting a bit sweaty in there. The line is sliding up and down. Okay, ready. Left leg, ready, and go. Whew. Try and keep that leg as bent as you can. That's as good as it gets for me. I can't lift the foot up any higher, but I do have a very high socket at the back of the knee, which restricts my knee bend. Those of you who've had a prosthetic for longer will probably be able to do this better. And stop. Swap sides. Other side. Much easier. Doing good. Keep it up. If you've got 2 feet of your own, I would suggest you do this without leaning on a chair, because leaning on a chair is cheating. Whew. Okay, we have one more set of those to do. If your hamstring's feeling a bit tired, just give it a stretch, like that. Stick your bum out, keep your knees straight, give it a stretch. Right. Last time. I'll be ready. And go. Keep that knee bent. Don't cheat like I am. Bend over. And stop. Ooh. Other side. And go. Nearly there. Can't see the timer. And stop. Ooh. Okay. Ugh. Right, sit on your chair. Now, how to stretch your muscles while sitting on your chair, because you probably don't want to stand up any longer if you're standing on prosthetics. It's really difficult to stretch your quads with a prosthetic leg on. You can do it without. If you take your leg off and then pull your lower leg towards you. And with this side, if you've still got a leg, you can do it like that. But sitting on the chair. And then hamstring stretch, feet out, and reach right down as far as you can. You should be able to feel that stretch at the back of your leg. And you can do it both sides. You'll probably be able to reach further on the amputated side. And we're done. So, thank you for joining me. If there's something specific you're having trouble with, don't ask me about how to straighten up walking, because I don't know. I haven't worked that out yet. But if there's anything else specifically you're struggling with, exercise and muscle strength-wise, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you again next week. Toodaloo.